think he should be together with us. Cik Muhammad Hanafi. Okay, anyway, we continue. He will join us later. Okay, before we start, I have a few housekeeping items. Everyone is on mute, and if you have any question for our speaker, please feel free to enter them into the chat box session, and we will address the question at the end of the session. Or you can also ask by raising your hand at the participant section of your Zoom interface. We're also recording this, and the recorded version today of webinar will be available on demand after the live session. Without any further ado, I would like to turn this over to our first speaker, Mr. Stan Michel. Over to you, Stan.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm assuming everybody can see the slide deck that I've got up. I thought it would be easier to share my thoughts through a few slides for people to be able to capture the information. Okay, Guardians of the Battlefield are a very interesting topic, so I'm going to do my best to follow that topic.
Thank you, Hen.
Okay. So first of all, very briefly, why am I here speaking on the topic? And then using the battlefield analogy, I'm going to talk about, well, what would be the objective in the battle? What kind of tactics would we like to adopt in order to win? Some of the skirmishes and some of the results so far. So I know my time is limited. I will do my best to be disciplined in how much I speak about. So why me? Probably because I've been in the vanguard of the battlefield for quite a long time now. My company is over 30 years in facilities management, and I've been involved in trying to develop FM as a professional discipline. And as you can see on the slide there, I've been party to developing some of the organizations which I'm very pleased to say are still alive and kicking today, and trying to raise the standards of facilities management. So raising the standards is indeed part of the battle to make sure that we're all visible, and organizations around the world come together to try and bring what we understand as FM as a strategic and professional discipline. To do that, we need to educate, we need to make people aware, and then ultimately we need to try and gain the recognition of FM as one of the key built environment disciplines. If we're going to be taken seriously, we have to seriously take on education and skills development of our people that work in our sector. Also, we need to communicate effectively, so we can be the biggest and the best in what we do, but if we're not selling ourselves in a subtle manner to the market, nobody will know what FM can offer organizations large and small. So if we're trying to do that, somebody has to start trying to provide the ammunition to fight the battles. And I'm going to go on to talk a little bit about what's been done to date in doing that. And then we need to motivate our people in order for them to be the salesmen of FM as a value add discipline that can enhance the operations of industry, commerce, government in terms of what we do. Okay, my slides aren't quite working as intended.
It's working.
So raising the standards for recognition and guidance, one of the things I've been involved in is with the ISO organization. And as you can see in the top right of the screen, the benchmark standard was published back in 2018, which is ISO 41001. And this is a management system standard for facility management. So this is an internationally recognized standard about what facilities management should be all about, what it should be delivering. And that standard is now out there, and organizations and FM teams can be recognized and accredited as performing to that standard. Then we've got to think about how do we get together internationally and regionally and within Malaysia, etc. And there are a number of bodies out there, professional organizations, that come together for that purpose, to come together to collaborate, whether it's in your region, in your country, or internationally. And if you're not aware of them, they also are involved in education and skills development from an FM perspective, practical perspective, and they work alongside colleges and universities in terms of enhancing the knowledge and understanding of what that professional discipline is all about. And then I mentioned earlier about communication, and there are two links that if you can capture them, or I can share these slides later for your distribution to the attendees. And both of those URLs will take you to, one's the LinkedIn page for the ISO Technical Committee that is developing FM standards, and the other one is a news page, a web page that gives you the same kind of information. So what is that ISO committee doing? That's a summary of what it's been doing, and the committee was established back in 2012. And you can see those 5 green standard identifications. They're all published, they're all available. I'm going to show you a little bit more detail about those in a moment. And the brown ones are the ones that are currently being worked on and developed. So I'll talk about those a little bit as well in a moment. So the published standards are there. They're on the left-hand side. You can see the working groups, and we've categorized what these working groups are focused upon. Concepts, so introduction about what FM is, operational guidance. 41012 is an excellent standard. And this webinar is about contracts, and that's a standard that I'll show you a graphic in a moment that is fundamentally about strategic procurement and FM agreements, and how to go about creating an FM agreement between the parties that will be sustainable. And a very, very good standard that gives a lot of good guidance to organizations large and small, and us as individuals within the sector. The management system is the one I mentioned earlier, 41001. That is a benchmark of international FM, that if you want to become and strive towards best practice, that's the document that you can use as a benchmark. And we're now developing standards to support 41001. And the first one that's been published is 41014. And the second one is just about to be published very early next year. And these are the different standards that we're currently developing. 41019 is the role of FM in sustainability and resilience. That's fully aligned with the UN goals and objectives for sustainability. The human experience, 41015, is a very interesting standard, because I fundamentally believe FM is all about people. So how can FM influence the people that we serve, but how can the people that we serve influence our ability to deliver FM? We are introducing a standard technical report, I should say, 41016, that will highlight technology in FM and how we go about deciding what technology is appropriate to our particular circumstances at any point in time. 41017 is about capturing all the knowledge that we are all currently generating in dealing with the current pandemic. We want to make sure that when the next pandemic comes along, the people who are still in FM don't need to reinvent the wheel again. So we're going to publish a standard on emergency guidance and preparedness. And one that we're just about to start is about FM performance and measurement and improvement. So lots going on. So I know I'm on limited time, so I'm not going to blether too much, which I'm pretty famous for doing. So a couple of the outputs that are associated with what's been done so far. That graphic of the world shows you the countries that are already engaged and part of this process, all of us trying to help each other. And I'm very happy to say Malaysia has been involved from the beginning. So your voice is being heard in the international community. Some of these comments to me are quite important. FM is about strategic and tactical management. And strategy should all be about doing the right things. And the tactical management approach should be about doing things right. It's a good little aid memoir to keep reminding ourselves about where we should be and what we should be doing. I'm a passionate believer about measurement, performance measurement, and you may have come across this to measure is to know, which was a term invented by Lord Kelvin, who some of you may have heard of in the 19th century. And his famous saying is, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. And the more you think about that, the more that is true. And in FM, we've got to be measuring what we do, because if we measure it, yes, we can improve it, but we can almost always demonstrate the value that we're bringing to the organizations that we serve. That's a graphic out of ISO 41012 that is all about contracting, contract management and procurement. And it's a continuous loop in terms of the process that we keep needing to go through. That graphic is the only graphic that's contained in the 41001 management system standard. And that shows you that plan, do, check, act cycle that is so important about what we do in FM. In the middle, there is the international definition of what FM is, because we spent many, many years, everybody having their own definition, which is not helpful. This is the international definition as defined by currently 52 countries that are members of ISO TC 267. And when we looked to see what FM does and how it influences the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we are one of the highest types of organizations and disciplines that influences more of those goals than almost any other. So FM can demonstrate, and it has the ability to demonstrate our ability to influence the sustainability of our planet. And I'm very much looking forward to the COP26, which happens to be taking place next month in my hometown in Glasgow. So you'll all be able to check in and see what's being said there by the great and the good. Let's just hope they get it right and the FM is in the mix somewhere. Thank you very much, and I'll hand over to your other speakers, and I look forward to the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Stan. Thank you for emphasizing of this new element of the ISO in FM, and it's good for us to refer as our standards, if we want to start drafting the contracts. All right, I would like to invite our second speaker, Mr. Muhammad Mazhar. Over to you, Mazhar.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharanon. Yeah, it's quite yeah, I don't have quite much time to to run through every slide, so I just pick up a few slides just to share and to basically help me to deliver my content. Okay, hold on here. Okay, we talk about digitalization. In digitalization, I think I don't need to elaborate more on this II 4.0 and whatnot, the IoTs and all that. So where facilities management is concerned, yes, we cannot run away from digitalization. In fact, we need digitalization in FM because in FM, as Stan rightly said, we cannot improve if we cannot measure. If there are lots of information that we need to process when we do a proper facilities management. And I'm so pleased that Stan has covered the very to set the stage, yeah, with introduction of facilities management standard with all these definition and all that. So I just want to just touch a bit about the agreement, because we talk about digitalization. The fundamental of anything is what we actually want to do. Okay, Stan has actually explained to us that we need to know what basically what we want. We need to really know what we want. So I would like to elaborate more on the agreement side. So in ISO 41011, the FM series also define agreement as a contract as an agreement under which two parties undertake to exchange a product for a payment. In this case, product is a result of process. Okay, if in facilities management, before you talk about all this digitalization, you need to really know what kind of, in this case, services, FM services, so that you are going to deliver. Okay, because if you simply, because we have practice in many organizations that you just use a template of other sites, without looking at the core business, the demand organization, if in the FM system terminology. Okay, in ISO 41001, you need to really understand the core business and get and establish the required FM services that is aligned and that is directly support the activities of the core business. Means that if you are to serve a workplace where you have different kinds of tenants or people who works in it, so you need to really study what are they doing actually. Then you will determine what are the FM services that you need you want to deliver or you want to offer to them, so that their core business will sustain. So we generally you will need a good agreement, you know, and the agreement should be sensible to the demand organization, to the people that you are going to serve. Okay. If not, it will be like a copy pasting, like a copy pasting, which doesn't really serve what the client really wants. Okay, we look at this contract life cycle. Just a very short introduction. Yeah? Contract life cycle start with demand management, means that you know the client. Okay, you know what are the demand of services that you need. All these are outlined and guided in the FM standards. Okay, and then you design the contract. You do the contract design. What are the scopes? What are the performance and whatnot? If you have a performance-based contract, probably you have a abatement system and you have a reward system. Then people start to procure, and then you deliver the service delivery, contract completion, transition management, and it is a cycle. When the contract ends, you will need to do the revision again on the contract. Okay, all these have so much information, and this information makes you all this information. We have so many information to process. That's why you need technology. You need to digitize the process. But if you do it wrongly, then the digitalization will basically make your life hard. I will try to explain in the next slide lah. Okay, and just to show you a bit about what is performance. Performance is achievement against intention. There are so many definitions there, and performance management is a process by which organization align the resources and whatnot lah. Okay, let me bring you to my experience in managing a contract. Okay, look at this slide. If you this is one example of the key performance area of facilities management. You can learn more in the FM standard. This is one example. In this case, if you can see, the first performance area is space. Okay, what do you need from a space? From a FM point of view, you need the space to be available and to function. If it is it can be an open space, it can be a closed space, it can be a air-conditioned space, it can be a non-air-conditioned space, it can be a space that is soundproof and etc. And another performance area is about the user. Is talking about their safety, their comfort, and probably you have another performance area that you can arrive to. So, and then you another performance area is security, about the security of the users, the security of the space against unauthorized entrance, for example, and the security of the asset. And then safety and health, we talk about hazard processes, activities, and all these about the sustainability, about the resources that you use, the emission, the impacts to the environment, and the waste that you produce. These are this is just example of performance area that you can set for the contract, and make sure it is aligned with the core business that you are supporting, because FM is supporting the core business. After you have set the performance area, then you will have the service levels, the general service levels for each performance area, and then you can derive the performance indicators. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, if you don't really understand what you need, if you don't design the performance that is to be monitored, if you digitize, even if you digitize the contract, the service delivery, it will not make your life easy. When we talk about, for example, we talk about key performance indicators. When we use that to monitor service delivery, does it, let's say one of the performance indicators are a bit technical, how are you going to verify that? If you understand the hierarchy of the performance, the key performance, how to derive the performance indicator, then you know that you don't need to be a technical person in order to efficiently manage a service delivery. Then the tongue twister. The digitization, the digitization will make sense to you. If not, the digitization will lead to like a pile of data that you don't use. because we should use data or information to basically improve. Okay, like if you cannot measure, you cannot improve. But there is a data, but if that data does not mean anything to you, how can you improve? You will not see something is wrong because you wrongly design the fundamental. So my presentation tonight is just to tell you how sophisticated the digitization of the system, whatever things that you are using, IoT sensors, all these things, all the logics, all the apps, it doesn't mean anything if the data, the information that is collected by the technology does not make sense to you as a manager to improve your service delivery in order to support the core business. And you will not be able to do that if you do the contract design wrongly. If you just do copy paste without studying the demand organization, as Stan mentioned just now. Okay, you have to. That's why we have this FM standard, FM series, F41,000 series. That's why we have that. Use that standard as a guide for you to to design the contract correctly and sensibly and align with the core business. Then talk about digitization. Which one you want to automate? Which one you want to use IoT sensors and whatnot? Then everything will be sensible, will be useful. I think. Do I have some more time?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
because based on my experience, probably Sharanur also will agree with me. Some of the contracts that we have, I don't know, but most of the contracts that we have, sometimes they said, oh, this is a performance-based contract. In the end, you will see that it is a task-based. It is like a prescription, too prescriptive. You need to do this. It is like a construction-like contract. You know, when you do a construction contract, it is specified that you must do this, you must lay this, you must erect this, you must mix this with this, and then at a certain time limit, you must finish complete doing this column, doing this thing, doing this floor and whatnot. But in facilities management, I don't say it is totally different, but majority is mostly different. You cannot do a contract, or you must solely based on you must do this, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. You must do servicing and all that. You must go to the tenant. You must do this and that. You can do that. Some of the prescriptive portion of the contract, but you must focus on the performance, how to manage, how to monitor the performance. So that is my point, because if it is not, you have so hundreds or thousands of things that you so-called digitize. You put sensors here and there, and you use the all the apps and whatnot. But in the end of the day, it is not a performance indicator. It is not a thing that makes sense to you. It is just a junk that you see, like your emails. Too many emails, then you will think that you don't know which is which. You don't know which to read first, because it's too many emails in your inbox. So that's why I said the design of the contract must follow the guides that is being set out in the FM standard. It's very good. The FM standard is very good. Yeah, you have a look, buy the standard and try to understand it and implement it. Then you think about digitization. Yes, of course, we cannot run away. The whole world is in digitization. Sometimes, if you use BIM, building information modeling, the building is already digitized. Everything is digitized already. But you must pick what is needed for the services, because if you cannot just simply take everything, every information, every data, because you won't be able to manage it. You have to take the data, convert into information, so that it makes sense to you, for you to improve. Yeah, the PDCA, plan, do, check, act. Yeah, you have to you can go to the the cycle, the quality improvement cycle, because you have a sensible data. You cannot have sensible data if you design the contract wrongly. That's I think with that I will end my presentation, and I hope my message is sent through to all of you. I'm sorry, I'm a bit. It's not that I'm not prepared, but I just arrived from another meeting, so I'm a bit like the state of mind is a bit.
It's okay, Maza. It's not it's a easy going activity actually. So thank you very much for your sharing. Okay, I think Mr. Muhammad Hanafi unable to join us tonight because he got some other urgent activity to handle. FM people, sometimes they've been called, even though they already commit for an event, but sometimes they needed to attend the very critical activity. So they feel bad and he apologized that he can't make it with us tonight. But anyway, we have plenty of time for question and answer actually. So by I think so okay in the digital activity, it's like during this COVID-19, especially in Malaysia stand, we can't run away from utilizing these digital apps or anywhere we go, because we need to do scanning of the QR codes, anywhere to update our location, where we are actually attending or arriving to certain location. Actually, for FM is good, because I can collect. If I manage that facility, I can access that. My Sejahtera is actually it's an application for being created by Ministry of Health, to register where you are, and in case for you want to monitor whether you are in the area where there is a COVID person, or maybe you are become the contacts of the COVID-19 patient, and then that's where it can be traced. So, but for the FM, actually, there's one part of the good thing, because I can manage that information as the space occupancy and space utilization. In Malaysia, we have like 30 over million people, and maybe half of it have this system on their handphone. This is the biggest system that been updated. Maybe every day cannot run away. Maybe 5 to 10 million of people are actually updating this information. You just imagine how huge the data if I want to use it for analyzing the space, for the occupancy and utilization. This is one of the example of the digital application, whereby they have it, but we don't use it, or we don't take it for analyzing of our facility, whether how we can manage it, with this data. Okay, so we have a stand mentioning about that. There is a standard contract that we have. There is a standard guideline that we established by ISO, and Mazda also spelled out that yes, we have a good contract, we have a good guideline, but how we want to adopt it, especially in digital worlds or in digital era, when people talk IR 4.0, bring more data into our bucket, basket, data of the that data of the IoT are coming in, but how is our ability, how is our readiness as a FMS to accept this data as part and parcel, whether this information or this activity already been built in our contracts. the contract already spelled out with this information, because with this information, with the digital transformation, it actually can make our life easier. So maybe a simple thing that they collect the data, but it's not being processed, but in manual way. It's like you are attending to one place where you need to write your name, your IC number, your contact number in the books. I mean, nobody are converting that data, nobody analyze it, but this data is very useful. Imagine this with this device of My Sejahtera. So you check into one place, you collect the information, who they are, who coming, but nobody really process the information for other activity in FM. So what say you, Stan, about this? The huge data, good contracts, but we still unable to analyze it,
Well, I said earlier, if you do not measure, you do not know, and you cannot improve. So I believe data has a tremendous opportunity offered to us in the FM business, but data itself tells us nothing. So the critical part of receiving the data is the analysis that has to take place for it to be the output from the data to be useful to FM. Several years ago, about 3.5 years ago, we as a company for the first time employed a data scientist. Now that data scientist who came into our organization knows nothing today about FM, but what he does know is he extracted from us what information we wanted out of the process. And his job was to develop the process. So taking all the data that we were capturing from different locations, putting them into the data engine, and then giving information that was going to be of value to FM. I made it very, very clear in the early days of the IoT technologies and the AI that came along. I'm not interested in it. I'm not a data person, but if it can add value to FM, I'm all ears. Now, that is very easy to say and very difficult to do, but the reality is the autonomous building is on its way. So we have the technology at our fingertips today that can manage buildings without us.
Yes.
And it can tell us when it needs our help, because we will never, ever replace the human element of that, because, and I've said this many times, FM is all about people. It's not about buildings. We build buildings, we build places of work. It's not about building systems. Yes, we need to know the environment that we're trying to create. We need to create something that's productive for people. And data can help us do that more efficiently and more effectively than we're doing it today. So I believe the future of FM is inextricably linked with technology. Because as these tools become more useful by extracting real knowledge from the data, then we will find them very, very powerful, as we have this technology that we're using right now. Because my company now works in about 20 odd countries. We couldn't have effectively done that before we had this kind of technology, which we've been using for over 10 years, but we all know it very, very well now because of a pandemic. So I'm also a great believer that in every negative that you face in doing your job in FM, in every negative, there's a positive. There's something that you can go and find and learn from and be better next time. FM is not a science. FM is about an attitude. It's about applying skills and competencies that we develop as we progress in our careers. And going back to my theme of the standards in all of this, what the standards do is simply bring together that knowledge from every country in the world that's willing to participate, and bringing it together, discussing it, challenging it, critiquing it, and then putting out a document that gives you frameworks and guidance, because that's all they do. They are pieces of paper, or they are effectively data.
Yeah.
So the data that comes out through ISO efforts into standards is about knowledge that everybody on this call can go and use to their advantage for themselves and their careers, as well as for their organizations and their clients and their customers.
Yeah, that's really true, because it's about the people. So I learned a new things about this. Something that we are missing on the FM is about the organization behavior and the psychology of people that actually live inside the FM environment. So maybe when we talk about the contract, it's always about the hard side, the stone, the steel, the structure. But I think we miss a few points about the behavior that we are actually managing that in day-to-day activity, but we are not realizing it. Actually, we are managing the behavior of the people that utilizing the facility, but we actually don't understand it. So, okay, Maza, I'm interested to talk about this KPI, because we know that this KPI derive a lot of activity, especially in managing contract FMs currently that we have in Malaysia. So maybe with having that KPI, and then with the new things, new element of digital FM, this will help them to really manage the right KPI, or they just will add another more KPI.
Okay. Okay. Basically, in Malaysia, just for the benefit of others that are not in Malaysia, facilities management in Malaysia basically evolved, I would say, embraced by mainly people from the building maintenance industry, the people building maintenance contractors. Therefore, generally, we are in a situation we are still trying to educate the market that FM is not building maintenance only. Some people, of FM is not new. I've been in FM for 30, 40 years. When I asked him what are the scopes that he does, it's only building maintenance. So, however, yes, in Malaysia, when you have a facilities management contracts, usually you will see the building maintenance element is so much on the building maintenance element. Only few areas are non-building maintenance. It's more on the hard FM basically. Yeah, it's still FM lah, I would say, kan. So with regards to the KPI, digital to me, the in Malaysia, the digitization will actually, yes, will help to manage the contract in terms of collecting data. Okay, but like I said just now, you have to actually first determine what data needs to be collected. Not all data you need to collect as a performance indicator, because in the end of the day, it will be a burden to the people who manage it, to so-called doing the KPI report. Okay, for example, I am the building owner, the company, the business that needs FM services. Okay, so I outsource my services. I outsource the FM function to an FM service provider. So my purpose was to basically to have my peace of mind so that I can focus on the core business. Okay, so the FM services will be done by others. Okay, with that, let's say I do a performance contract for FM. But in the end of the day, my staff still doing nosy things, still have to, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you do this? Have you done that? Have you done that? Why this is this? Why this is that? Like when I was doing some training to one of the staff, doing some training. So I came across a person who managing a contract. So when I asked her, what did you do on this part? I'm verifying that these electrical services has been done. Okay, then I ask her, are you an expert in electrical? Are you the competent person in this field? No, I'm not. So how can you verify a work by a competent person? How can you verify that? No, I don't know, because it's my duty. The boss asked me to do that. This is an example
Because it's
of,
already inside the KPI, is it? Or
yes,
indicator to then to
yes.
check, is it?
This is one example that a performance indicator is being wrongly designed.
Use. Wrongly designed.
I would say probably abused. Because if you are a business owner, if you are a business organization, you're running a business, you want to focus on the core business, you would want, when you outsource, let's say you outsource the FM services to others, you would want to have a peace of mind. And you and the FM service provider would have a technical and non-technical people that serve me. Why would you need a same qualified people with the FM, so-called, to verify the jobs? This happened when I make the performance indicators is task based, I would say.
Task based.
In general term, I wrongly designed the contract. If I want to monitor the service delivery of an FM, it should be a line of what I need as a business. What do I need as a business? First of all, I have to be clear of my own goal first. Okay, I am clear. I have a vision, mission, objective, and whatnot. Fine. I have this department to do this. Like we do balance scorecard, we to do this objective and whatnot. So all my departments must be supported by FM. And I have a people that I would, of course, hire to manage the FM service delivery. But these people does not need to be equivalent in the competency, in terms of competency with the FM. We need to measure what we can measure. You got what I mean? Because sometimes, okay, for example, okay lah, it's easy that we say, let's say, the air conditioning system, then you start to use the technical term and impose to your staff to monitor the FM in that technical terms. 23.5 degrees C, okay lagi. It's still okay. Everybody knows about temperature. But when you look, when you go deeper on the technicality, and you have a guy, a management guy, to manage a service contract, how is he going to tell you, the boss, that the FM is doing the right thing? Because he's not an econ man. So the performance indicators needs to be the one that you can measure as a client, not the thing that all this on the ground, all these technical things. That can be a data, and that can be a what you get a feed data for you to what you got to formulate into a key indicators whether the FM is doing their job or not. Same goes if the FM team is your internal staff, is your internal department. It's just another department, FM department. It's the same. It's the same. You can. The thing is, the contract needs to be written right. Then you won't have 1,200 KPIs to be collected, to be measured, and then I don't know, because this is what's happening in Malaysia. Sorry to I'm not telling bad things about Malaysia, but I think probably in other countries as well, probably they will have a similar problem of choosing the right key performance indicators of facility management so that it will be meaningful in order to efficiently manage the service delivery. We are not trying to be nosy to this electrician, to be nosy to the aircon man. Is the refrigerant pressure okay? Is the no? We do not. As a client, we don't to know that. We want to know the indicators that they are doing the work. So that needs to be really, really carefully designed.
Yeah.
And then, yes, of course, it will goes down, cascaded down into technical technical parameters, of course.
Yeah.
That will use IoTs and whatnot to sense and whatnot. Yes, of course, it will help. If not, you will go like this, you know.
Yeah.
So they will crack the head. Why you so stressful? No, because I haven't done my KPI report yet. You wanted to peace of mind, to focus on your core business, then you have your staff crack your head to do a KPI report for you. Okay, just that my response.
Okay, thank you, Maza. Okay, we have a few questions to address. I think Alicia, can you address the question? Can you
Okay, we have one question for Mr. Mazhar from Diwasnari. How shortly we in Malaysia can further strengthen the implementation of standard facility management using digitization methods in line with the Industrial Revolution 4.0? Is there any recommendation?
So this is for Maza. How shortly we in Malaysia can further strengthen the implementation of standard facility management using digitalization method in line with the industrial methods in line with Industrial Revolution 4.0. Is there any recommendation, Maza?
Okay, that's why I was actually asking him to rephrase. Now I'm reading the chat. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the country, very new facilitation is needed to ensure the management of quarantine centers implemented in compliance. Therefore, how institutions can accept digitalization can assist facility management, especially in Malaysia. Any Sharanan, can you help to for me to understand the question?
Yeah, actually, how in terms of digitalization can assist facility management, especially in Malaysia? Okay, let's say this is a situation where suddenly you have MCO that people cannot come to work, you know, and maybe because before this they need to print the work order in the office and then go to work, you know. So, but now they can't go to office, you know, and then this is the situation where we also receive this kind of issues. That's one thing, you know, and then actually when they have a limitation of monitoring the staff activity to perform the works, you know, by having this. So, is it something to relate?
Yeah. I think I got. If I understand correctly, I got the meaning already. I understood already. Okay. I think yes, digitalization will surely help FM. Okay, will surely FM. But yes, like I used to call myself a fundamentalist of FM. Okay, you
guy.
you feed me everything, I will go to the fundamental.
Yeah, go to
the core business. You serve the core business again. Will it like Stan said? Will it make sense?
Yeah.
Can anything that you try to shove to my throat, I will say, does it help me in my job? You know. So yes, digitalization will help FM, but it boils down to how do you design the performance indicator. The contract means it can be contract. It means can be contract between a client with a service provider, or if you don't outsource, everything is done by the internal staff. A contract is like is a job description. Contract is an employment contract. You have a facility manager as a staff in your organization, for example. This is a contract. So if you rightly design that contract, you won't be like if MCO happens, you won't be too much. I don't say 100%. Too much so worried that if they will they do the work Are they doing the job? Are they just arrive in the office and then they go to sleep? If you really design it correctly, what are the indicators that you need to know? What are the indicators that shows the performance of the aircon? What are the indicators that shows the performance of electricity? What are the indicators that shows that the building is safe? What are the indicators that shows that the building is in terms of fire is not risky for to catch fire? So these are the things that digital can help. Yes, you can use them. Okay, they arrive, they scan the QR code that you can see. Then they go to the round floor, the visual inspection level 1. They scan QR code. Level 2, level 3. But what does it mean? What does it mean? Does it make sense to you that they have gone there? Does it mean that the building is safe? Does it mean that aircon is good? Okay, you have to ask yourself. If not, the digitization is just as a means of adding points, adding IoT points, so that the supplier can sell more IO input sensors, okay, and whatnot. So yes, it can help, and of course it can help, but like I said, you have to really make use of the FM standards. There's so many things there that will guide you for a better contract, and you will get the right thing to measure. Not necessarily many, maybe few, maybe just 20, maybe just 50.
The important
the important and the sensible.
Sensible.
That is sensible and relate to the result that you want to achieve.
Relate to the result that you like to achieve in relation for us to support the core business. You know?
Yes, correct. Yes.
So okay, Alisha, do you have any question? Alisha, have any question that to be addressed?
So far, I think every question has been addressed by Mr. Michel.
Oh, Mr. Michel already answered it on
the chat box.
On the chat box, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So you want to elaborate it, Michel? Stan? You want to elaborate your answer?
No, I've tried my best. I'm not the fastest typer in the world, so I've tried my best to reply to the chats during the session, and I've indicated I'll send you my slide deck so that you can share that to those that have attended the webinar.
Okay. Basically, this is the digitalization activity. You know, sometimes is we are changing our pen to a computer. So it's matter of like last time you need to write, now you still need to write, but you type it. You know, so it's like enhancing it. You know, like maybe last time when you write on paper, so you need to make a photocopy when you want to give somebody. You know, but now when you write in a notebook or you write in your phone, you know, you just keep the record and then send a copy to somebody. Just push a send function, send button. You know, so it's like this digital tool is helping you, enhancing you to manage the facility. But you need to understand. We need to understand that the contract is actually covering it. You know, but you don't spell it how. You don't spell it in detail how you want to manage it, because it's up to the organization to adopt it. You know. To suit to their way of doing things, you know. So, but anyway, the standard is there. You know, it's how you interpret to standard and then to map back to the digitalization activity that you want to achieve.
You see, something I would say about standards. At the end of the day, it's not the immediate thing somebody in FM would think about getting involved in. Our industry, our sector is very dynamic, very challenging. Every day a different challenge to face. Creating standards is very bureaucratic and prolonged, and you know, but the reason I got involved in standards is if we want to get recognition as a strategic professional discipline, we have to create international standards. And what I would say to your audience is how do you become an expert in FM? You spend your whole career working in it, and every day you learn something new. What these standards do is allow you to accelerate knowledge and experience, because the 52 countries that are involved in creating these documents are sharing their knowledge, a lot of whom have already been through their careers, have met all the challenges that we might meet tomorrow. So these standards give you frameworks, give you guidance, give you benchmarks. And as Mohammed has been saying, they are very, very valuable. But I say the same thing about digitization. Digitization has such tremendous potential for us going forward. But so did the paperless office. And how many of those do you see? Because the paperless office was there 30 years ago, and we still deal with paper. So our future as individuals in this industry of ours is incredibly exciting to harness digitization, but it will take a long, long time.
Yeah.
So we need to take it a step at a time. We need to go forward and embrace change, which is not something we typically do well as human beings. And we need to say, not only is FM strategically important to the organizations that we serve and we work within, but digitization are the tools of the future, and we need to embrace them and welcome them. It will change what we do and how we do it. And in the Economic Forum, it was said by 2025, half the jobs in commerce and industry won't exist anymore because of digitization.
Oh, yeah.
But half the jobs that are going to emerge in 2025, we've never heard of them so far. So we'll need to reinvent ourselves and our competencies and our skills. And we're working in the most exciting industry I believe there is to work in. FM is so dynamic, so diverse, wonderful business to be in.
Thanks, Tan. Okay. Yeah, it's true. Because of this digitalization, we need to take step by step. But we need to take. We cannot just wait. We cannot. I mean, we need to take a step to move in to the digital era. Otherwise, we are going to miss the boat, or miss at the port. So, and then nobody going to bother about you because you already missed at the port. But against that, we need to be prepared, and we need to take a step. We cannot just sit against it, especially in this era of the pandemic. Especially when we already work from home, get used to this internet, get used to this online activities, meetings online, virtual, but when we start to open up the country, and then you don't lose this momentum that you already start to involve in the digital era. And because this is the time where you be asked to use it because of the pandemic, but when now everything is okay, and I hope that people don't go back to the old days, not to embrace this technology. So this is what I hope that in the future year, we still have this pandemic. Maybe in other countries they already don't have it, but when we open the country to start like a normal, don't go back to the era that we are not appreciating this virtual or era of appreciating these online things. Okay, so thank you very much for the speakers. Need to wrap out because it's already 9. Already 9. 10 minutes past 9. Is it like that? We cover everything, even though it's a short activity. But thank you for the insight from Stan, Michelle, and also Mazhar, and to all speakers. So it's very very insightful information. Even though it's a short period that we like, maybe we still have this webinar series. So before we end this webinar session, participants, please take out a few moments to fill in feedback form to obtain your CCD and CPD point from CIDB. The link for the feedback form will be posted in the chat box after the session, or and don't leave the Zoom meeting. You need to fill your feedback form in order for you to claim your CCD and CPD point from CIDB. Great, that's we appreciate that you are being here. Thank you again for joining. But I need to share with you this. We will be having a second webinar series. We talk about the second topic about space management. Still in the era of the digitalization, digital transformation in facility management. What we talk about space management, the trickiest part of an organization. So we have two speakers that already agreed to join. SR Dr. Wan Samsul Zamani from the UTM, and we also have a speaker, Joanne Mann, from the iOffice and Space IQ from Australia. So they would like to share the insight about this space management, the trickiest part of an organization, especially in managing FM, on the Tuesday, 19 October, 8 to 9 p.m. And please, again, feel free to register whoever the interested to join this event next week. So I think I've done. So any last word from you, Stan and Mazhar?
For me, thank you again very much for the invitation, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you. Mazhar?
Yeah. Thank you very much for the invitation. As a conclusion, yes, digital. We need to go digital, but you need to the fundamental right. Set the fundamental right first. Thank you, and pleased to see Stan here again.
Yeah. So we appreciate the. I mean, we past 2 years, we don't have any event. It's like cool, So now I think this is the starting point. In the meantime, we also have a ICW in coming month. So we have the ICW with CIDB. So I think we start back this activity actively, especially in FM. So okay, from the webinar admin, if you post the question, the feedback. Okay, I think they already posted the feedback form, so you feel free to click and then to provide the feedbacks. And I think that's all from me for tonight. Thank you very much for participating, and see you all in next 2 weeks. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Mazhar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye.